Okay, let us start the class. First of all, let me check. Okay. Okay. So in today's class, I'm going to explain in Python for loops. Okay. So this is VS Code. So first of all, open new file, click on new file, Python file. Okay. So new Python untitled. Okay. Whenever you compile, it requests for to keep a name, to give a name. Okay. Now it is untitled Python. Okay. Now come. Okay, my dear students, today we are going to understand what hash comment. First comment means loops in Python. Okay. So first of all, we need to study about for loop. Okay. So my dear students, normally some have requested me that, sir, suppose if I am not getting any logic and I'm not able to write much code, if I stuck somewhere else. So these are the normal problems they have discussed with me. So stuck, suppose if you are writing code, normally you stuck somewhere else. It is not only it happened with you, even though me also, I stuck. So many times whenever I was conducting the classes, that moment I stuck. So that classes as it is, I have kept in YouTube, where I have stuck, how much of time it has taken to resolve it. Okay, especially in Python, that margin issues, indentation. Okay, so whenever you are writing code, stuck somewhere, you are unable to solve it, fix it, debug the program. Okay, so normally it is happened with everyone. So by continuous uh, focus, continuous practice, you can resolve them. So don't worry about that. Okay. So now, as I told you that these classes are very free classes and these are being conducted thrice of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at sharply 8 p.m. And if you don't have any laptop, simply you can write the coding in mobile also. As I told you that mobile, it is so powerful and so many apps nowadays available to for Android mobile to write the code. Especially, I'm briefing now. One is that for JV Droid for Java, okay, and PyDroid 3, PyDroid 3 for Python to mobile, okay, to write the coding on mobile. As I told you that up to now, I think initially whenever I have started these classes, I have written 1,000 pages of coding in the mobile, and that coding sent to many students. Okay. So if any student he is unable to attend the classes with his busy schedules, and these classes will be recorded and kept in the YouTube, and the link has been shared with whenever class link has been shared with all of you, and you can watch the videos there. And if you have any doubt, you can call me and you can send a message to WhatsApp me. And if you can demand a class also. Demand means demanding class. If you need to get some word arrangement of class over Python, some topic, any topic you choose from any language, okay, and you can ask me. I will arrange that class. So now come to the point. For loop. So for loop, the syntax is in for loop. Okay. What do you mean by looping? Looping means uh, rotating. Loop means rotating. Otherwise, traveling through a piece of code, a block of code. Suppose, try to understand, a print statement is here. So it prints what? Suppose it is a string. A string is what? Vasu. So as I told you that in Python, string always, it must be in double quotation or single quotation marks. Now, if you enter this one, if you compile this, okay. So So as I told you that first it is untitled. So first of all, you need to store it somewhere else. In my drive. In my C drive. Okay. This is my computer. In my C drive, in my one folder, VS Code, Python, you select, and after that, keep a name for this file. File is what today is loops. Simply you write loops. Okay, .py. This is very compulsory. Python extension, file extension .py. Okay, save now. Save. Save. Okay. Now, where is this? Okay. This is okay. We have gotten this printout. Now close this one and so. Okay, now what happened? This Vasu string printed. Okay, this is a piece of code. So if you want to print this string 5 times, okay, 5 times, that is called looping. Looping means Vasu will be printed 5 times. Okay, so that is called looping. Okay, so how, let us see how it happens. Suppose for loop is a keyword in Python. So syntax C, VS Code already it helps you accept this one. Okay, now this is what Vasu is a string. Okay, if you want to loop over this, so before this you keep this Vasu in a variable. Variable what? Suppose name. Name is equal to, okay, name is equal to Vasu. Name is equal to single quotation marks. Okay, Vasu. So now this is a string type of data kept in a assigned for a variable. Now you call that variable name. Okay, simple name. So name is a, for I in, you need to name. Okay, then colon, not semicolon, colon. Okay. Now what happened? Why it is giving error? Because for it is a loop. So with a keyword. So now this print statement, it is part of your for loop. So we need to give margin. Margin means one tab, 4 spaces. Now this statement will become the part of this loop. So now if you compile this, what happened? Right. So Vasu 4 times. Vasu 4 times you have gotten the print statement. Why gotten 4 times? Because I have not mentioned how many times this loop to be rotated. This loop to be rotated. Okay. But see, it rotates how many times? Okay. See, first of all, what happened? Print also printed how many times? 4 times. But I have not mentioned here 4 times to rotate, to loop. Okay. So see, one more example I am giving here. I will explain. Suppose okay. Suppose if I want to directly, if I want to rotate, if I want to loop through this Vasu, is it possible? Okay. Name Vasu is not defined. So what do you mean of this? Means Vasu is a string, but I have not defined that string because string comment, string is kept in comment, but directly I want to loop through Vasu. Okay. Is it possible? No. Why? Because that is to be defined. Vasu, Java, Python interpreter, it will not be able to understand Vasu is this, what, whether it is a string, whether it is a integer, you need to define first. If you want to directly loop through these characters, okay, so Python will not be able to understand, Python interpreter will not be able to understand. So first of all, you need to define this one, okay. Name is equal to Vasu, Vasu is a string. Now you loop through this name, okay. So it, okay. Then here, if you pass I here, so see what happened. So we are getting what? Every letter prints one by one. Every letter prints one by one, VASU. So this is called vertical printout. So how it is happened, try to understand. This I is a variable. I is a variable. So initially that value I, okay. So whenever I is equal to 0, but you are not initialize this I. By default, I is equal to 0. So whenever I is equal to 0, so at first iteration, this is called a string. String has positions, that is called index, called as index. V position is equal to 0. Next A position 1, S is equal to 2, and U is equal to 3. Okay. This is called index. Means index is nothing but positions. This is what? This is position of characters. So whenever I is equal to 0, loop goes to, it tries to read from here, first 0 position. So whatever that character, that will be printed. So after then, I will be incremented. In default, inbuilt, okay? You need not to define, you need not to initialize this variable like in Java. So because in Java, for loop code is what, in Java, for loop, normally, suppose in Java, the commenting, we need to write the code for, we need to define the data type, I is equal to 0, okay, semicolon, condition, I less than or equal to, we need to say some condition, 5, next incrementation, I plus plus. This is the syntax in Java. This is the syntax in Java for loop. We need to write like this. Initially, we need to set up this initialization, start up this one variable. Its initial value either 0, 1, whatever, at 5, depend upon you. Okay. So, and then one condition we need to write. The condition is what? This loop to be rotated until this condition satisfies. Okay, whenever condition not satisfies, loop terminates. Incrementation. But in Python, no need to worry about all the things. Simply you write for I in. So the loop looks where? The loop, the loop, for loop looks forward, rotates forward for this string. Okay, the string name is name. So every time initially it takes I as 0, and it's at 0 position. Whenever it looks for index, at 0 position V is there, so it prints V. Then it goes for again, rotates. At 1 position, it takes another variable, another character, and store this in variable, in this variable I. So you are requesting for printing of I. So it prints A. Again, it goes for, okay. Now your I will be incremented to 2. So then 2 at 2 position, index position, S is there, so S will be printed. So like that. Okay. So you need to understand like this. Huh? So it is in Python, very simple. Huh? So now you are getting what the printout statement, the lines. This is what VASU vertical. Suppose if you want to get them horizontally, so you simply keep a operator here that is called end, is equal to end operator, and so these codes. Okay. If you now compile this code, so this you will get the output like this was horizontally. This is vertical printout. So if you want to get these characters, every character somewhat space, you come down here, you put gap in between. So now compile this one. You will get the you will get somewhat space in between. You can find somewhat space between of these characters. Vasu. Okay. So now come down. This is for loop. For loop, we can do a lot in for loop. This is one. Now I told you that suppose I told you if I want to get Vasu 5 times, so nothing to do what? Just you need to pass. You need to pass what? Print bracket, just name in place of I. Okay. Now you want to get the printout of Vasu. Okay. So how many times this loop? How many times you will get the printout? 4 times. 4 times. Why 4 times? The same name Vasu will be rotated 4 times. Why four times? Try to understand. So what is the yet whenever I is equal to 0, okay, it prints Vasu. Now counter incremented to 1. So whenever 1 is there, so it prints again. Okay. Here whenever counter increments to 2, it prints again. So whenever counter increments to 3, it prints again. Okay, up to 3. Whenever I value 4, that moment it will not print because you have not given any condition here. But by default, internally, that is the beauty of Python. There is not a programmer headache, incrementation, condition. Okay, because at whenever I is equal to 0, so it prints Vasu. So counter incremented, default counter, inbuilt counter. Okay, here you need to incrementation. That is the headache of the programmer in Java. Here, whenever I is equal to 0, initial value 0 it takes, Vasu will be printed. So whenever I incremented to 1, so it goes here again printed. So again I incremented to 1. So now whenever I value 2, it prints Vasu again. Okay, how many times? Whenever I value incremented to 3, it prints. Whenever it goes to 4, it terminates. Why it terminates? Try to understand. Its length, length of. So try to understand. So here I am using a function here, print length. Length means length of name. So how many characters? What is the length of this name string? Okay. So it will give how many characters? It will give 4 characters. Okay. So if 4 characters are there, its index will be index is equal length minus 4. Sorry, length minus 1. Length minus 1. So what is the length? Length is equal to 4 characters. So 4 minus 1, 3. Length is equal to 4 characters. 4 minus 1, index 3. So whenever index is 3, so takes a printout. Whenever index goes to 4, so loop terminates. Okay, that is the story. 4 times. Okay, if here if I increased his name Vasudev, so it will print how many times? So length is equal to 1, 2, 3, 6 characters, 7 characters. So minus 1. Minus 1 means index 7 character means index last index 0 to 5. 0 to 5. 0 to 5 means 6 times.